Milosevic must do next to get the bombing to stop. In depth tonight, Flight 1420. Why the crew may not have had the best information about the dangerous weather. Also, flying tired when pilots work too many hours. Lifeline, another difference between men and women. What happens when you take your medicine? And look out, world, here they come. Words of wisdom to the class of '99.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, the road to peace in Kosovo. All the signs are encouraging, and they do seem to point a way to the end of the bombing soon, maybe even by this weekend. But this is not a matter of just stopping the bombing and then going home. Peace in Kosovo will require peacekeepers and lots of money. We begin tonight with the final arrangements for peace, and NBC's Jim Miklashevsky, who's at the Pentagon now. Jim?
Tom, officials here remain cautious tonight, but predict that if everything goes as planned, the fighting could be over, and American peacekeepers on the ground in Kosovo within days. American ground troops in Albania preparing to enter Kosovo, not to fight a war, but to enforce a peace. And while NATO warplanes are still attacking Serb troops today, the Pentagon says NATO might call off the airstrikes as early as this Sunday.
If Serbia cooperates, I think the bombing could be halted by the end of the weekend or very early next week.
It all depends on what happens tomorrow when British General Michael Jackson meets with Serb military leaders to hammer out the details of the withdrawal of Serb troops from Kosovo. Under NATO's plan, the Serbs would have 7 days to pull out all 40,000 troops and hundreds of tanks. Serb troops will have to follow specific routes out of Kosovo or risk being attacked by NATO. Inside Serbia, they'll have to pull back 15.5 miles from the Kosovo border, creating a permanent demilitarized zone. As soon as Serb troops begin to leave, 50,000 NATO peacekeepers, including 7,000 Americans, will begin to move in. 2,000 Marines, the lead American units, could be inside Kosovo by Tuesday. At the White House today, President Clinton welcomed the potential for peace.
A chance to shift our focus from defeating something evil to building something good.
The first priority, find and feed those refugees still trapped inside Kosovo.
Some of them have been out of their homes for months. We know that the food situation is desperate.
Then the painstaking process of resettling 1.5 million refugees, returning to a homeland in ruins. But tonight there are more encouraging signs. U.S. intelligence sources report that Serb forces are scaling back on their fighting. A signal, perhaps, they're preparing to withdraw, and that this potential for peace is the real deal. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon tonight. Kosovo, of course, is only about the size of Connecticut. It's a small place, but the physical and human damage in this short war is so great. The hatreds run so deep. It will take thousands of troops, billions of dollars, and many years to put it all back together. Here's NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
It cost billions to destroy Kosovo and the rest of Yugoslavia. Now officials say it will cost at least 10 times as much to put it back together. What has the war cost? As of this week, $2.6 billion, $60 million a day. And now those 7,000 U.S. peacekeepers will cost another $3.5 billion a year. No way of knowing how long they'll stay, but U.S. troops are still in Bosnia, 4 years after they first arrived.
The initial part of it is going to take a large force, and the international force will be there a long time.
What will it cost to rebuild? European officials say more than $31 billion for reconstruction, humanitarian aid, and repatriation of refugees to Kosovo, and to help neighboring countries, Albania, Romania, Hungary, Croatia, Slovenia, and Macedonia, all suffering because of the war. So what's missing from this map? Serbia.
Kosovo cannot prosper without a good relationship with Serbia, and it certainly can't have a good relationship with Serbia while Milosevic is still there.
But today, NATO allies say not a penny for Serbia while Milosevic, an indicted war criminal, remains in power.
You have a dictator in charge, an indicted war criminal as your leader, and you cannot expect properly to be part of the reconstruction of the Balkans while that remains so.
Who will pay? Europeans say they'll pick up 60%. The U.S. says Europe should do even more. Bottom line, the administration says the U.S. paid for most of the fighting. Europe should pay for the peace. But American taxpayers will still end up spending billions in the Balkans for years to come. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the State Department.
Still ahead tonight, Lifeline, the gender gap, why some prescription drugs might be safe for women but dangerous for women.
I hope physicians will begin to think about the sex of the patient, the gender of the patient when they choose a drug and when they choose a dose of a drug.
Women and prescription drugs, a potentially lethal combination. NBC News in depth tonight, the latest on the investigation into the crash of American Airlines Flight 1420. Are too many pilots too tired to be flying?
I want this one.
Quaker toasted oatmeal, crisp oatmeal flakes, and honey sweetened clusters. You haven't wanted a cereal this badly since you were a kid. Hey, you might want a bigger spoon because we've made Quaker toasted oatmeal even better tasting.
Sir, I need your vehicle. I need to get to 84th and Adams. Seville SDS, most powerful front-wheel drive car in the world, right?
Yeah, beat the 540i in the slalom.
I knew that. Big fan of the North Star system. Stabilitrack almost reads your mind when it comes to control.
That was close.
Trust me, I'm with the government.
Seville STS, it's what's next.
Shouldn't you be getting out?
Oh, they'll be all right.
I'm glad you came home for the weekend.
Dad, when are you going to stop with the butter?
You know, I like it without the blue hair.
Steve didn't like it either.
Steve?
Dad, seriously, your cholesterol.
My cholesterol's looking good, and this is not butter.
New Benecol, a delicious spread proven to promote healthy cholesterol levels, as reported in places like the New England Journal of Medicine.
You can eat this and it can be good for you?
They did some studies. I read about it.
Wow, I'm impressed.
New Benecol, a delicious way to manage cholesterol.
What happened to Dave?
Things change.
When dentures dream, they see the perfect denture cleanser. One with the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and the freshening power of Listerine. Well, little friend, dream no more. It's really here. It's called Efferdent Plus, and it's the only denture cleanser that could make your dream come true. Efferdent Clean and Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
On a new Dateline Friday, a brilliant heart surgeon who found he could save lives working in his basement.
There are a lot of patients walking around happy and healthy today because of this very spoon.
Does he really work miracles?
Well, you look great. How do you feel? Feeling great.
Secrets of a Lifesaver. A new Dateline Friday at 8, 7 Central after the game on the West Coast.
NBC News in depth tonight. New information about this week's deadly plane crash in Arkansas. In the middle of a dangerous thunderstorm, you're looking now at pictures of the crash scene. This tragedy has raised more questions. Would better forecasting with state-of-the-art equipment have saved lives on American Flight 1420? What is the surviving co-pilot telling the investigators? NBC's Robert Hager tonight begins the in-depth reporting.
As some investigators wrapped up examination of wreckage today, others finally conducted a hospital bedside interview with the surviving co-pilot, who told them there was never any discussion of not landing through the wind and rain because he and the pilot could see a lane of open sky, what the co-pilot called a bowling alley between two storms, a clear path to fly through to the runway. But he did say after landing he had the feeling of hydroplaning, skidding over a layer of water down the runway until the plane crashed. Why didn't it stop? Investigators are looking at the plane's spoilers, slats like these that are supposed to pop up automatically on landing to slow down a plane, but inexplicably in this case did not pop up. The co-pilot said he thought the captain had set them beforehand so they would pop up, but he was unable to confirm to investigators today that it had been done. As to weather information, the most detailed normally comes from Doppler radar, which almost anyone at home can see on their local TV station or off the internet. But it's not beamed up to cockpits. Instead, most pilots rely on older radar that can't measure wind speed or look out very far. And only 45 of the nation's largest airports have Doppler, a more elaborate version that's faster and able to warn pilots of winds very close to the ground, but it costs $4 million a unit. So in Little Rock, where 3 local television stations have Doppler, and the local office of the National Weather Service as well, the Little Rock Airport has only simple wind measuring devices and the older radar too. Also today, survivors and relatives of the dead taken to see the wreckage. Later from one,
I needed to see it, and I think it made it just a little bit more real.
Tonight, a bouquet left atop the fuselage, memorial to lost lives. So at week's end, the focus here on the crew's decision to try to land in the first place and whether the spoilers were set properly ahead to pop up, and the larger issue of whether pilots have enough weather information nationwide. Tom?
Robert Hager tonight in Little Rock. Thanks very much. Flying a plane, of course, requires skill and concentration. But are the men and women in the cockpits these days driven to exhaustion? There are an estimated 70,000 pilots flying for major commercial airlines in this country. Federal law limits each pilot to 30 flying hours over 7 consecutive days. But what about pilot fatigue? NBC Jim Avila continues tonight's in-depth reporting.
The pilots crashed during the last half hour of American Airlines' standard 14-hour pilot day. But the NTSB wants to know more. How long had the crew been awake, and its sleeping pattern for the entire 72-hour period before Monday's accident?
Operator fatigue is one of the leading causes of crashes and accidents.
How concerned is the Transportation Safety Board? Tuesday, hours before Flight 1420 crashed, Chairman Jim Hall wrote a letter criticizing the FAA, delivering this safety recommendation, asking that airlines be forced to set limits on hours of service and provide predictable work and rest schedules. The NTSB asked for limits 10 years ago, and the FAA still has no guidelines for the pilot workday.
And I think it's time for the administrator and the government to step forward and perform their responsibility.
The NTSB says American taxpayers have funded study after study showing that fatigue causes mistakes, but the information has not been used.
Work deteriorates after about 8 hours in a particularly steep curve.
Among the first brain functions to go, decision-making.
It's judgment more than motor skills, absolutely.
Judgment, essential when tired pilots are trying to land a jet in a late-night storm. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
Up next, the massacre in Tiananmen Square. It was 10 years ago tonight. We'll have a report from the scene of that crime against humanity. And later, let the commencements commence. Now, this year's graduates are saying goodbye, school, hello for what passes for the real world.
Can you return things like vitamins? At GNC you can. Every product comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. We're talking about something you put in your body. If you're not satisfied, we're not either. GNC. Come in. Live well. Does your multivitamin know you're a man? Mega Men from GNC is made especially for men with ingredients like saw palmetto and ginseng that other brands don't have. It's your body. Take what belongs to you. GNC. Come in. Live well.
Every day you give from your heart. So every day, keep your heart healthy by lowering cholesterol. Oatmeal Crisp has soluble fiber that may help lower your cholesterol, plus delicious clusters of oats, sweet raisins, and brown sugar. Your heart does so much for you. Make Oatmeal Crisp a part of your heart-healthy diet and return the favor. Oatmeal Crisp. It's your heart's desire.
Here's a new idea. A pain reliever from Aleve that goes to work fast and lasts all day. Introducing new Aleve gel caps. Like most gel caps, they go to work fast, but Aleve gel caps do more than work fast. They have the strength to work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. Look, if your pain reliever starts fast but won't last, get one that does it all. New Aleve gel caps, 2 pills, all day relief. Works for me.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse. Postponed adulthood, starting at under 16 grand.
Gee, that oatmeal was little.
Yeah.
Done with those sausages? I'm done with them hash browns?
Sure.
You need some help with that bacon? How did I get heartburn? All I had was oatmeal. Got any Mylanta?
Are you kidding? Aluminum and magnesium? You want Tums. Tums has calcium.
Tums calcium knocks out heartburn fast, then goes to your bones to help keep them stronger, longer.
How about a bag of donuts for the road?
How about a bottle of Tums?
Sunday, will there be real peace in Kosovo? What did the war achieve? And the Chinese espionage story. What is the next step? On Meet the Press at a special time.
President Clinton took another shot at the gun lobby today, saying he believes people should have to register their guns like they register their cars. The National Rifle Association has long opposed gun registration. It said today it will fight any proposal to put gun owners, their names, in a federal database of some kind. The U.S. State Department today issued a somber statement marking the 10th anniversary of China's brutal crackdown on student demonstrators in Tiananmen Square, saying China still has a long way to go on human rights. In Beijing, things could hardly have looked more different tonight than this night 10 years ago. Here's NBC's Jim Maseda in Beijing.
Today, Chinese soldiers and police out in force around the square, ready to move against any sign of protest. Within seconds, this man, who threw out pro-communist leaflets, was arrested. Even the scene of the 1989 massacre cleverly hidden from view. Preparations to mark the 50th anniversary of the People's Republic of China on October 1st were to have ended by the end of April, but those works have been extended, effectively walling off the heart of the square to passers-by and any potential trouble. Like activist Gao Hongmin, a leader of a fledgling and illegal opposition party, tailed day and night by undercover police. Like dozens of other dissidents detained this week to defuse potential outbursts.
The people still want democracy, but they can't ask for it openly because the government still controls their lives.
But on university campuses, once the soul of the pro-democracy movement, students have other concerns. Belinda is a business major.
What I think most is how to find a job in the future.
China is booming, and today's youth want to taste prosperity students in 1989 never dreamed of. But as state industries close, unemployment is on the rise, up to 25 million Chinese out of work. And the Chinese government worries more today about disgruntled workers than idealistic students. Even former radicals like Peng Rong, a prominent leader at Tiananmen Square, today are business leaders. For his role in the protests, he served 2 years in prison, but now runs a real estate company. His views on all of it today?
I think we were very naive. What I've learned is that you can't build democracy from one or two movements. It's like building a house. We need to take it step by step.
Peng says he's got a family and a career to think about rather than the mistakes of the past. So while the symbols of freedom and defiance, those acts of courage the world still remembers, remain a threat to the Chinese government, for most Chinese, it's time to move on. The drama of Tiananmen Square, a fading memory. Jim Maseda, NBC News, Beijing.
Now to personal matters, time now for Lifeline. Alarming new information tonight about something that seems to be obvious. Men and women react to the same medicines differently. Here's NBC's chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell.
With all the other differences between men and women, now one more, potentially deadly. Our bodies respond differently to the very same medications, a problem few doctors considered until recently.
When physicians go to medical school, we're told that everybody has a heart and it's a muscle, and it's unrelated to the hormone system of the body.
But in fact, hormones play a big role in our reactions to drugs. How do we know? Dr. Raymond Woosley's experiments with rabbit hearts revealed striking results.
It became pretty clear that the female rabbit heart and the male rabbit heart would respond very differently to medications at the exact same concentration.
The difference often leads to serious electrical abnormalities in the heart, and not just in laboratory animals. When Judy Harrison had a kidney transplant, her heart stopped beating, a reaction to a drug she took.
For all purposes, I really was dead.
Researchers now understand that with at least 10 different drugs for widely varied uses, this reaction strikes women twice as often as men. Doctors now want to re-examine all 4,000 drugs on the market. Until now, researchers tested most drugs in men only, so no one knows what the male-female differences may be. Dr. Vivian Pinn, head of the National Office for Women's Health, says women should start asking whether their drugs pose a threat.
I can tell you as a physician myself, many times there won't be an answer. We won't know the answer. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't find out the answer.
And many believe that finding the answer should be a top priority, a difference between men and women that can make the difference between life and death. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
And we have some news on the American economy tonight, a bit of a mixed message on the jobs front. The unemployment rate dropped 0.1% last month. It went back down to 4.2%. That is a 29-year low. The unemployment rate for African Americans fell to 7.5%. That's the lowest it's been for that group since they started keeping track in 1972. But at the same time, only 11,000 new jobs were created. That's the slowest job growth in more than 3 years now. And wouldn't you know it, Wall Street liked the slow job growth, easing inflation worries just a bit today, so the Dow was up a little more than 136 points. NASDAQ also a solid gain today. It was up 75 points. For the week, the Dow was up a little more than 240 points. NASDAQ also up almost 8 points. And straight ahead tonight, sending the class of '99 out into the world, into a new century. Advice from some familiar faces.
Thank you all.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Fortunately for Millie, Dr. Espinoza was in the office early, while someone else was drafting the marketing plan to sell his home. At 11, he was making his rounds, instead of visiting his title company. At 1 p.m., he was giving Pam good news, instead of checking for disclosure documents. And by the time Dr. Espinoza wrote the day's last prescription, someone else was at his home meeting a prospective buyer. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Natural, real. I want to look the way I feel. I'm a Grecian man.
Grecian fine.
Want it quick, hassle-free. A look that really looks like me. Grecian man.
Grecian fine.
A Grecian man, no time for gray. A new generation, a whole new day.
Grecian fine.
Those daily shower cleaners forget one pesky little detail: disinfection. Get the only one that does it all, presenting Lysol Daily Shower Cleaner. Sure, it saves cleanup time, but hello, it also disinfects, if that matters. Till you have our word on it, you can't call it clean. Not all automatic toilet cleaners automatically kill germs. That's why there's Lysol Continuous Action Toilet Cleaner. It cleans and kills germs. You have our word on it.
You won't believe your mouth with this antacid.
That's amazing.
Dissolved almost immediately.
Like, it's gone.
Introducing Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewables, a whole new kind of calcium antacid for heartburn.
It dissolves quickly when you put it in your mouth. Very quick.
New Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewables dissolve faster and more completely than Tums.
Didn't have to dig it out of my teeth. No grit. It's gone.
New Maalox Quick Dissolve Chewable Tablets. Quick dissolve your heartburn away.
Quick dissolve. Maalox.
From 1 Minute Maalox.
Just ahead on the scene at 6, a terrifying experience for a 7-year-old girl in Middle Tennessee. She is kidnapped. We'll tell you who investigators think the kidnapper is and let you know how the ordeal ended. Stay with us. The scene at 6 is just minutes away.
Caps and gowns, cheers and tears, bank accounts depleted, loans to be repaid, parents proud and parents terrified. What if they want to move back into their old bedroom? Yes, it's graduation time across America. the great ritual of commencement and the words that go with it. Lots of words, many of them memorable and worthwhile.
Shannon Rice. Come here, Shannon.
Woo, look out, world! Here we come!
Commencement speakers like to say, go forth. You're going anyway. You're not going to sit in this sod for the rest of your life.
Begin with that most terrifying thing of all, a clean slate. And then look every day at the choices you are making, and when you ask yourself why you're making them, don't answer to be perfect. Find this answer within you. For me, because these things are who and what I am and mean to be.
Real fulfillment will come not from leisure, not from idleness, not from self-indulgence. Rather, it will come from striving for a worthwhile objective that helps others and is larger than your self-interest.
You should, at some point in your life, seize an opportunity to put the country's interests before your own.
Real success comes when you learn to act as if everything depended upon you, everything, and pray as if everything depended upon God.
Abandon virtual reality for the real thing. Never pierce anything you can't hide in a job interview.
I have the high honor to present the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree as recommended by the faculty.
I just want to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Life is full of unexpected turns and seemingly unbearable setbacks. Granted, it's hard to do, but try to live each day in a way that will make you have no regrets.
So when it seems like it's all too much for you to handle, lay back and kick back and let the soul catch up with the body. Go out and find a song that you love, someone you love, and take the time to let the whisper of God's voice come into your mind.
We need, as never before, the capacity to think, and to think with the heart as well as the mind. The best is yet to come. Good luck, and God bless you.
There, Mom, aren't you proud? The work of producer John O'Rourke and editor Billy Catalano. That's Nightly News for Friday. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here Monday night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Now on the scene at 6,